Coming up on the St. Paul Forum, we're going to talk with the 2018 Winter Carnival Royal Family. We're going to find out about their year and what's happening at this year's Winter Carnival. Welcome to the St. Paul Forum. We're fortunate this morning to have with us members of the Winter Carnival Royal Family. So I want to just briefly introduce who we've got here. Jilla Nadimi, 2018 Aurora Queen of Snows, King Boreas Tom Leonard, and our Prime Minister Christine Quandt. Hi, welcome.
Thank you.
So, you know, the first thing I want to find out is what has this last year been like for you? Any of you, do you want to start?
Coronation was almost a year ago, and what a whirlwind of a year we've had. We make over 400 appearances. A lot of them happen within the first 2 weeks of Carnival, but this year we had 17 days to celebrate the Super Bowl and all of the exciting attention that Minnesota was getting, and the Ice Palace as well. And we have just traveled to little towns all throughout Minnesota, gone internationally to Canada and throughout the United States, just spreading the winter cheer that Winter Carnival is all about.
What was your favorite thing that you did this last year?
I think like you meet a lot of people and they have impact on your life. And a big part of why I wanted to run for Winter Carnival is that I'm an immigrant. I was born in France and my family moved here when I was 5. I really wanted to show other members in the community that they can also represent a city that they love, and for me that happens to be St. Paul, and to connect it more with global issues and concerns that are happening in the Twin Cities. Our family motto is building communities one ice block at a time, and I created an ice block challenge where we helped fund a youth group in Nakia Valley refugee camp for a month, and then also tying with issues that are happening in the Twin Cities, doing more charitable works. We had a backpack drive to spark joy to kids to go back to school and have the supplies they need to be successful. So I've really enjoyed the ability to meet people, to hear what their concerns are, and to see how Winter Carnival can help everyone enjoy winter.
Tom, what was your year like?
So, as Jilla said, it was a whirlwind with so many appearances. But we tried to put a social aspect into it as well, where there's some redeeming value. We're building stronger communities one ice block at a time. And we did that through reaching out to different community organizations, like Jilla said. And we did it in St. Paul and the local surrounding communities. We tried to stay local with that. And then we coordinated with the ARC, American Refugee Center, and were able to do that. Now, some of the really special moments for us were when we were out in communities and we were able to recognize people that had done great things in the community. And we have a ceremony that dates back to this Winter Carnival origins, where it's a knighting ceremony. And it's a formal ceremony. It comes with a certificate in a frame, and we are able to recognize people with that. And in that way, reaching out and recognizing people, the organization is able to recognize an individual or the group that we are part of. We get to pick out someone that has done something special or is a recipient of maybe the community's love. And you know, the rest of Winter Carnival is a lot of fun, but that makes it redeeming value as well.
When we chatted earlier, I was picking up on the extent of the charitable activities and community building that is a part of the carnival now. Is that something that's evolved over the years?
You know, I think if you date back to the carnival origins in 1886, it's now the oldest running festival, continuous running festival in North America.
Yeah. Wow.
And the festival started, you know, it kind of has fun origins because a writer from New York came out and to find out why St. Paul was the fastest growing city in the upper Midwest. And he came out at the end of January by train. He went back by train to New York and wrote that this land was unfit for human habitation.
Siberia, I believe.
So the community leaders got together and said, hey, let's have a celebration at that coldest time of year. And there was a lot of immigrants in a lot of different communities, and they had it based in St. Paul, downtown, where the community came together. And it was based off of bringing the community, the melting pot that Winter Carnival organization was. And it was supported by the city of St. Paul, and it was supported by all the different businesses in St. Paul. And it did bring the city together. And I think it still is that today. It binds the community, and it is bringing the different areas of the cities, and represented by the Winter Carnival legend with each of the wind brothers of the king, the north wind, the east wind, the west wind, and the south wind, which represents the different sides of the city, and it brings everyone together. And from there you have a celebration, and the people on the south side get to know the north side, west and east, and they all come together, and you have a celebration together.
The civic pride element of that is really nice, and people, we are proud that we don't slow down when it's winter and a lot of snow. Christine, what was your year like? What stands out?
Oh, well, I mean, it's difficult, right? In 400 appearances, how do you choose?
Yeah.
And traveling to Winnipeg and celebrating their festival, which is based in their, their historical roots and things like that. But for me, two things really stand out. It's when we're knighting these individuals who have done great works, or like Tom says, just need a little bit extra love. Those are the ones that really stand out because it's meaningful to people, and oftentimes they don't expect it. So these surprises of, being acknowledged for what they've done. There's many of those that stand out. And also, for me in particular, I started with Winter Carnival in 2004. I was the East Wind Princess. Okay. And having had that experience and growing as a young woman, just starting out in the business world and making connections with business leaders throughout the state and the city was a great connection, and I wanted to be a part of that for another generation of young ladies. And so to watch our queen and princesses have that opportunity to make those connections as well and grow has been really special for me. Just the individual meeting of people has been fabulous.
It sounds like a huge time commitment for that year of service as royalty. What, how much time do you think it involves?
A lot.
A lot.
Yeah. It is a lot of time, and you have to have the support of the organization, like Jilla with the ARC, and in my company with Fury Motors, and Christine with her sponsors and her job to be able to coordinate a schedule where you have 400 appearances, up to 400 appearances in a year. Now they obviously happen multiple in a day, but people are giving up a lot of their time to volunteer and to make our place a better place to live. And I think that's what the St. Paul Winter Carnival does, and you want to do it because of that.
I also want to highlight that we might be the outward face of the organization for the year, but there are hundreds of people making sure that we're able to get to that small town or to represent St. Paul within our Twin Cities. We have royal coordinators that make sure our schedules are there. We have a wardrobe committee that lets us know what to wear, so we don't even have to worry about that. All we have to do is come and be present and represent the city the best way we can.
Nice. Is it hard? Is it a challenge for your family as you're doing this year?
It's definitely a sacrifice for our families, especially with Tom and I. We both have young children, and so you really need the support of your family and extended family and spouse and children, and they've got to be in it with you. And it's a big sacrifice, and we are very thankful to them for allowing us to do what we do and enjoy our time.
Yeah, I am so thankful to my wife. In this one-year program, along came a little baby to us.
Oh my goodness.
And so not only was she dealing and helping with our other two children, she gave birth to our third just a month ago. And so she's been amazing, and I would like to give a shout out to Phoebe. She's incredible.
And so you're from Fury Motors.
Yes.
I know that Fury has been involved with the Winter Carnivals for some years too. I don't know what the extent of it is, but
the extent of Fury Motors being involved is when I was growing up, we were giving convertibles to the Winter Carnival parades, and in other ways supporting. In fact, I think we have a picture of my dad in 1949, when he was 3 years out of high school, driving one of the princesses or queens through a Grand Day parade. I was the Prince of the Southwind in 1994, and we took on a bigger role after that. And we've been, before I accepted this role, my role that I played in Winter Carnival was just background support, like Jilla was saying, the hundreds of people that were helping support the royal family in Winter Carnival. I was one of those hundreds, and happy to do it. And I saw the role that Winter Carnival played in the community and what it did for me as far as getting to know people in the community and growing within the community. It really is a huge operation that, it gives you personal growth along the same way. And my company and I and my family along with it have all wanted to support and be a part of that.
Nice.
He also sponsors a grand prize for the Medallion Hunt that happens every year, which is funny because before even meeting Tom, you don't know the king, you don't know who's going to be the queen, you have to go to coronation, you have to wait and see who the family is going to be at coronation. And like my whole life I'd been participating in the Medallion Hunt and I finally meet the sponsor.
Right.
That's right, yeah. That, and where is Fury Motors?
We're in South St. Paul, Stillwater and Lake Elmo.
Okay, nice.
We're your local neighborhood dealer.
Yeah, nice. So in real life, what do you do?
I'm an
Christine?
RN.
You're an RN?
Yeah, registered nurse, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jilla, you work for the American Refugee
Committee.
Yeah. And it sounds like you were able to combine that interest a little bit this last year with your service.
Yeah, it's something that was really important to me, community service. We go to a lot of parades and we instill love for your town, but also direct service of helping the community. Each family is different. Our family took more of the service route, and we just have been so impacted by that. And I think it's more than just a crown. I think it's about what you make it and how you can use it as a platform. And our families really allowed us to grow in that sense and to be able to support organizations that matter to us.
So let's talk a little bit about this year's Winter Carnival. They're rebuilding Rice Park, so it's going to be new and better than ever, and that's caused some of the activities to move over along the river to Kellogg. What should people look for this year?
I think it's an exciting move. It's been in Kellogg, along Kellogg Park before, and the ice sculptures will be out there. The end of the Vulcan Victory Dance, which allegedly the Vulcan King and the King Boreas, when they have their final confrontation, and it's only happened like 132 times in a row, but we're holding out hope that the King of Winter will win this year and the royal family. But the final confrontation will occur there right along on Kellogg Boulevard and Kellogg Park, and there's a stage there, and it's been there before many times during Winter Carnival. And then people won't have to go anywhere to watch the fireworks. If Volcanus Rex prevails and brings spring and summer onto our fine city.
Might be our year. We'll see.
That's one of my favorite things. We've been fortunate enough to do TV coverage of the parades and to have our truck and our cameras at the library and to see that overthrow ceremony with all the torches and things. It's so cinematic. It's like a movie, and we enjoy that a lot.
If you haven't seen it, you need to experience it. It is a unique experience that happens right here in St. Paul.
Only in St. Paul.
Only in St. Paul.
And we have 3 parades for during this year for Carnival. So Thursday, the 24th, is a Moon Glow Parade, which is a pedestrian parade. And the community is welcome to participate. So that's one, and that will also end in Kellogg Park.
Where does the Moon Glow Parade start?
It begins at Landmark Center, and then it'll end at Kellogg Park. And then we have the Grand Day Parade, so that's an exciting parade for the incoming family. That's their first kind of, we get to get a look at the new King Boreas and the new Queen of Snows and the guards and the princesses and all of the Wind brothers. It's a fun parade to see, this new family that's going to start and continue this legacy of Winter Carnival. And then the following weekend, the 2nd, is the Torchlight Parade, which again, we'll see if the Vulcans prevail. But it is just a spectacular event to just be part of, and all the alumni come out and celebrate again what Winter Carnival is and the fun that it brings to St. Paul.
There's probably more than 100 little activities and things you can do and see, and not all of it is downtown, right?
Exactly. So at the State Fairgrounds will be this Vulcan Snow Park that they have every year. This year, due to snow, we'll see what Boreas gives us by the start of Winter Carnival.
Yeah, we're hopeful the snowmaking machines work very well.
Yes.
Oh, are they going to bring snow in?
They're going to bring snow to do the Great Slide, which is going to be the size of a football field.
Nice.
And they're also going to be creative in the way that they have the Vulcan Castle. So come out and see this unique way of building a castle this year.
One of the
Really?
very cool things that the Vulcans do at the snow park also, besides the slide and besides this new castle, is they have snow sculptures there. And they're really impressive.
Top notch.
And so they're doing the public is invited, I believe it's today and tomorrow, to stomp the snow down and pack them in these boxes.
Really?
And from those packed snow boxes, they create these wonderful sculptures.
So there's a lot of family activities, things to see. And what else would you want to encourage people to go and see or do that they might not know about?
There's a family day after the Grand Day Parade in Kellogg and also in Landmark Center for those who aren't brave enough to go out in the cold. But I know that they're trying to incorporate scouting this year with fun activities. So it's just going to be all about enjoying what Minnesota has to offer throughout the year, but also in the winter.
You know, I think the Winter Carnival would say probably the easiest thing is to go onto the Winter Carnival website, look at the activities for the day. There are activities, lots every day, especially in the weekends, but there is something to do for someone in every group every day. And it takes thousands of volunteers to pull this off because people are out there celebrating our community.
And you can go into the Landmark Center and warm up, and there's some activities in there, right? So, did you ever get close to finding the medallion? You said you'd hunt for that sometimes?
I did. I got 10 feet from it.
Really?
And turned around.
Oh my goodness.
Maybe in a couple of years, we'll see what happens. But then people think that I was Associated Fury.
Well, I can officially say the St. Paul Pioneer Press, which is a wonderful promoter of the St. Paul Winter Carnival and the Medallion Hunt, does not share that information with me.
No, that's top secret.
Yes, I've been released from that rumor now.
So this next week, the royal coronation will take place, where we will meet the 2019 King Boreas and Queen of Snows. Do they know who they are yet, or is it a surprise?
So a few members know who they are. So King Boreas knows who he is, but there are very limited people who know. We don't know who he is. But he's spent the year planning, and you need a great deal of time to get ready for the year, so he knows who he is. And that's the greatest kept secret in St. Paul, we hope. And then the Queen and the Princesses also are chosen from a group of candidates, and so that we will find out on coronation. But as far as the other members of the family, the Prime Minister has already been announced. The 2019 Prime Minister, Megan Quiggle, who was also a past princess, so it's
In 1994 with me.
with Tom. So
She was the West Wind Princess.
You know, we chatted a little bit earlier, and it was my impression that traditionally the Prime Minister was more likely to be a man, but you've had some...
Megan will be our 5th female Prime Minister. So, and our 3rd previous princess who's then become Prime Minister. So it's becoming kind of a fun tradition to bring in these ladies who have been involved before.
And what does the Prime Minister do?
So the way I like to describe it to people, because it's kind of difficult, is sort of Chief Operating Officer. So we've got our row coordinators, and I work directly with them to plan our schedule and get everybody where they need to be. And if Tom's got certain needs that he wants, he comes to me, and then I kind of communicate that with the family. So sort of organizing, making sure that these people are where they need to be and doing what they need to do, Yeah, so it's been a great experience for me. Great family. It helps to have your fabulous organizers, your coordinators that are helpful, but also a family that is really interested in just working as a team. So that's been very helpful.
So it sounds like it's more than just networking or business contacts. It's you form some bonds.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's the point, right? If we're going to build strong communities one ice block at a time, it's making these interpersonal connections and building these relationships. That's for me one of the most important things about St. Paul Winter Carnivals. We can't build our stronger communities, our business relationships without having these connections. So.
And one of the jobs that the three of us have when on the opening night of coronation is half of the people know who they are, half of the people don't know their roles, is to bring everyone together in a cohesive fashion as quickly as possible, because you have up to 20 members of a royal family each year, and they don't have, you have no time to practice together in that role. And without the Prime Minister and the Queen, the role of Boreas, the captain of the guard, it doesn't happen, and we need to bring that together really quickly, because I did not know who Jilla was.
I didn't know who he was either.
Yeah,
I still don't know who he
until
is.
we stood next to each other on stage.
It's pretty incredible if you look at, I mean, very few other experiences would you have where you're expected to spend a year with 20 people that you don't know, and from the get-go, I mean, from the minute you walk off the stage when they put the crowns on your heads, you are expected to take off running and roll as a family and be a team right from the get-go. It's pretty incredible.
I think the greatest part about coronation is it's a play. We're actually living out the legend, which was created early on in Winter Carnival. And it's just meant to educate people, like, what is Winter Carnival all about? So if you've never even heard of Winter Carnival, or if you've been interested in it, you don't need to be part of a royal family to come and attend. It's open to the public, and it's to spread that legend even further and reenact it. So we essentially put on a play for a full year.
So there's so much tradition here, and there's a sense that this is St. Paul history, but then the city is changing as well, and it's becoming more diverse in some ways. How do you welcome the newer members of the community into this very old tradition?
I think that is the role of Winter Carnival, and it doesn't exist without all the communities coming together. And so the community outreach in Winter Carnival goes to each side of the city, and it goes to all ethnic groups. And the idea is to welcome all into it. And I think it's why Carnival exists today. Winter Carnival would not exist unless those different groups come together and join in. And the Carnival, Winter Carnival, is strong today, and it's continuing on, and I don't see the legend going away. It's it's part of the community and what binds us. And unless you change and evolve, it will rot. And I don't think the Winter Carnival is ripe at all. It's still growing.
Yeah. So with the last couple of minutes that we have, any shout outs or mentions or thanks or any last words? Who do you want to thank or give a shout out to?
I think I just want to thank St. Paul for allowing Winter Carnival to continue going on, and the Festival Heritage Foundation for believing that this festival is something worth preserving, and all those that come out to have made our year such a wonderful and magical memory-making year for us. Because honestly, if people didn't show up to cheer us on, it would be kind of sad. So I'm just so grateful to even have the opportunity. It's just been a blast, and I will remember it the rest of my life.
And I think I would like to bounce on that. I think the reach out for me is to the citizens of the community. Come and celebrate with us. We are celebrating our city. It is the point in time where we come together and we enjoy our life together. We don't have the challenges of going to the cabin. We don't have the challenges of having to mow our lawn or rake our leaves. Well, we could probably rake our leaves this year. But it's the right time to come out and celebrate. And it's going to be a beautiful winter wonderland, even if we don't have snow. We'll have ice sculptures and snow slides, and people will be out celebrating.
It's a time of year when people would rather stay inside, and Carnival makes you go outside and show the world that we can brave the cold together.
Christine, I'll give you the last word.
That's important. I guess I think what I would echo with Tom is just I would like to thank families, but when I think of families, I mean specifically my own family, my husband and my children were so giving of their time and allowing me to do this, but also my parents who were helping us with childcare, and all my sister and all of our family driving the float. My dad drove the float a couple of times,
Oh my goodness.
but also, so obviously that's big, but the Winter Carnival family, and not just our 2018 family, but something for me that speaks to Winter Carnival is the legacy. Everywhere we go, there is an alumni member there cheering you on, asking you what you need, just helping your year be successful. And so it just, again, speaks to this bond of Winter Carnival family, our royal family, and our extended royal family.
So, well, thank you all so much for making time to come and do this.
Thank
the LA
you.
Times had the Winter Carnival Ice Palace on the front page above the fold
Really?
last year during the Super Bowl, and
That's
the rest of the world thinks we're pretty cool, and we have to.
The coolest celebration on earth.
Well, thanks so much, and we will look forward to seeing you guys at the Royal Coronation and maybe the Senior Coronation in a couple days. Thanks for joining us on the St. Paul Forum. We'll see you again.
Thank you.